No, wait. I think we're live, but you're
Oh God.
again not in the shot. I thought I fixed it. Oh, there you are.
There I am?
Yes. There's a huge delay, but that's fine. So, hello everyone, and also Alan.
We're back!
Yes.
Oh my goodness. It was a solid, 2 weeks? Because, the first week
Yeah.
was Thanksgiving,
Uh-huh.
right? I was like, can we have Thanksgiving week off? So that was off.
Yeah.
And then the week after that, you forgot! And you were sick.
Yeah, I was very sick on like Thanksgiving time-ish, and then you were like, "Are we on tonight?" And I was like, "What?" And it was already 9, so I was like, "No, there's no way I can prepare
What
right
did
now."
you do? You're not getting your zinc, you're not getting your vitamins? What did you do to yourself, Estefannie?
I went to a little kid's party.
Oh no! Petri dishes on legs.
Yeah.
Don't do. Oh, gee. See, you got to get a respirator. You got to make sure that before you go to one of those things, you have. I have these zinc lozenges. That's only good for
Yeah.
viral stuff, though.
Yeah.
There's like there's there's a little bit of literature that suggests that zinc supplementation can help a little bit with viral infections, getting over them. And
Yeah.
preventing
No,
them.
I've tried those. They actually taste really good too, but
Not mine. The lozenges
Oh.
I have are awful. They're like the size of it's like a stack of probably like a bunch of quarters,
Yeah.
and it tastes like chalk. It's chalk and
No.
like zinc and binder, like a little bit of dextrin or something, and it's just like compressed into a solid kind of cylinder.
Well, mine tastes like that, but plus a little bit of orange. I just realized I never actually talked about it on social media, so people might not know we're live right now.
Oh Jesus,
So,
that's fine.
can you sing for everybody while I tweet
What am I singing? What am I singing?
something for the holidays?
Holidays, this is my holiday song because we are still going strong. And this is the end of the year, and we have nothing to fear except for winter. Winter
Also,
time.
now a
Winter
rap.
time. What? Are we done?
No,
Did we
no, you need no rap like rapid. Like
rap. Wait, rap.
no,
Kid?
just yes.
It's winter time. It's winter time, and winter time is here, and we got to file away all of our receipts for filing taxes next year.
Yeah.
And
I'm done. Wow.
yes,
Wow.
tap in, tap out.
No. Okay. Wow. That was great. Thank you. I tweeted. You should probably
Thank
retweeted. Doesn't matter. But
Are we like on? Are we on right now? Now
we are on.
on.
Just we're on. Do you need a link? I don't even know where the link is.
No, I see you.
But you need like a YouTube
retweet.
link?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I just retweet.
This is how we work.
Oh wait, did you not? You didn't put a link. I retweeted your tweet, but your tweet didn't have a link.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Well, how's it going,
It's
Estefannie?
going great. I'm working on 2 projects that I'm really, really excited about. One of them has a bit of an explosion, so that's a scary and fun one. And
Bit of an explosion.
and then the other one is just like serious, but it's also probably the biggest thing I've ever built in my life. So it's very scary because I don't even know what I'm doing, but it's fun.
Explosions aren't usually in part of your things. That's kind of a new thing for you.
Yeah.
Explosions? When's the last time you had an explosion in a YouTube video? I don't think you ever
No,
have.
never. This is a new thing. Yeah.
What kind of explosives are you allowed to have in Texas?
No, I'm not gonna use like explosives, I guess. Or I'm trying to steer away from chemicals, and I'm just gonna try to do it with just like
Compressed air?
pressure. Yeah, compressed air.
Okay, no, that still counts. Like a confetti cannon or something?
No.
No?
Why are you trying to guess?
I want to know what you're doing.
It's gonna
Unless it's a
be
secret. I mean, if
it's gonna
it's
be
a
a spoiler
secret,
because
sure.
I want to be the only no well the only hint I want to give you if I get this one done hopefully is it'll be released next week because something is happening next week that everybody's gonna be talking about.
What's next week? Um.
Wow, you're not a big Star Wars fan, are you?
Oh, for the 20th. I see. I see.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot happening in the world, man.
No, just Star Wars. That's all I know.
there's a lot happening next week, I'm
So,
sure.
how about you? What about the Secret Santa? Are you excited? I'm so excited.
I just want to see. I just want to make sure it happens correctly. I shipped off my thing.
Yeah.
Tracking says it got there. It's very complicated, so I sent Ruth instructions because she said that she would be able to pass it on to the person that I have anonymously. I don't know how long we're supposed to stay anonymous for. Like it would just be way easier if I could just be like, "Hey, you have my thing. Let me make sure you know what it is and how it works because it's very ambiguous in the
Oh,
box."
people are complaining about the sound. I need to put on my headphones. Probably you too.
Are people here? People
Yeah.
are watching.
Thank you for coming. Echo is really bad. Oh man.
All right, I don't have the thing open, so you've got to handle the comments.
Yeah, I got it. So
Okay. Do I need headphones?
probably.
Oh God.
Well,
Oh
in the
God.
meantime, I can tell
Oh
you about
no.
my make.
No.
I sent it out, and I actually messaged the person who got it because I knew they got it, and it was more like, "So, did you get mail or something?" And they're like, "Oh my gosh, yes, blah blah blah." And then we were talking about it, and then we talked about how to like set it up too because there was a thing that they had to do, and
Okay,
yeah.
so they already know.
I mean,
You're
because they
presuming.
already filmed it. Yeah. Because they got the package. I knew they had gotten it and they opened it. So, yeah. So, you know that person already got it, right?
I don't know who has what. I have no. Oh, you mean the person that I have?
Yeah, the person that you sent it out to, they already got it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That one is definitely the UPS tracking, the USPS tracking says it was delivered. That's what I know.
Oh. Maybe they haven't
That's
opened it yet.
yeah. I don't know.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
boy, is the sound okay on your end? I don't really know what is being sent where right now, so
I think
I'm gonna
the
assume
sound
it's
is
good.
great right now and people are saying it's good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Hey, the hacksmith is here.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hi James. We're good for the 22nd, right? That was what everyone agreed to for Secret Santa.
Oh, he just said
Because
that
I know James was a little behind on his
Yep.
waiting for stuff to ship from
He said
China.
his Secret Santa gifts are super late, FYI.
Oh God. Is that why I haven't do I have the hacksmith? Is that why I haven't gotten my stuff
Hey,
yet?
I haven't gotten it either, so it could be.
You haven't gotten yours?
Nuh-uh.
Oh, it's getting a little for the video to come
know.
out on the 22nd. It's getting a little
I
tight.
know. I have a
I mean,
feeling
to be
that
fair,
I'm gonna get it the same
mine-
day.
Mine was only delivered yesterday, I think, or maybe the day before that. So
Okay. But you said it arrived today?
no. Like the thing that I shipped,
Mm-hmm.
it said it was delivered.
Oh,
Yesterday.
delivered. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's some time zone shenanigans, so I don't really know what yesterday means. But like, all I know is I woke up in the morning, I put it in, I was like, all right, delivered. But like, I don't really know how time works.
So here's the thing. Wait, James is saying that he is a few $1,000s deep into it.
Oh
Holy
no!
crap.
It was $100.
I know.
It was supposed to be $100 in a 1-day bill.
I know.
Are you freaking kidding me,
No,
James?
I'm excited. Are we all gonna get the mini cyber trucks? Are we all getting that?
I
That'd be awesome.
assume we're all getting a Voltron cat at this point. As it's supposed to be something that like I think James said it was something that like we all would be involved in. I assume it's some kind of a Voltron
Oh my god.
type arrangement.
Okay. I'm excited.
That's what I'm assuming at this point.
Wow. I mean,
$1,000. Oh my
for
god.
me, the most expensive thing was shipping. That was
Yes.
holy
Yeah.
moly. That was in the few hundreds of dollars.
Did you get someone in the
I'm
UK?
not gonna say anything.
If it's a few, your shipping, my shipping is $180. How much was your
My
shipping?
shipping was $350 for a 2-day shipping.
$350? What did you do?
Oh, shipped.
This is the stupidest thing. This is the worst collaboration anyone's ever
I
come up with.
disagree. This is the best spent money. I
Like
disagree.
it's just gonna bankrupt everyone. Everyone's spending hundreds of dollars just to ship their
Thousands.
stuff. It was supposed to be
Hacksmith.
$100 limit. The hacksmith is over here dropping thousands of dollars. In this.
No,
So,
I think it's so cool.
meanwhile,
So cool.
the thing I said, I mean, I had to cheat a lot, but like for the most part, it is basically $100.
Okay.
It's basically a 1-day bill,
Yeah.
and so it looks like a pile of stuff. It looks like a bunch of wood and Harbor Freight things because that's what it is, and that's how it's shipped.
Okay.
Now I'm over here following the rules,
Mm-hmm.
looking like a fool.
Well, mine was. Oh, I can hear myself. How can I hear myself? How is there echo?
I don't know. I hear myself too. I'm rolling with
man.
people say the audio is good. The audio is good.
All right. So mine was under 100, the whole thing. But if you really count your hours, mine was not a 1-day build. I spent 14 hours just doing one tiny bit of it, and then 3 days debugging it. So I'm like, okay, I don't know.
How was it $350 then? You must have had someone in the UK.
Well, it's a box like big. So
Oh,
the
like a
hacksmith
big-
said it's a project creep and parts not working and a lot of things. Yeah. Gabsol commented, $100 item, $1,000 shipping. Genius.
$1,000 shipping. It better get there yesterday if the shipping costs $1,000.
I mean,
it's got to be some kind of time. I would only pay $1,000 if it was some kind of time travel shipping where it actually got there before you sent it off. That's the only way I would pay.
Someone famous is delivering it.
Well, I mean, with the Amazon Prime, right? It's 2-day shipping for free, and now it's free 1-day shipping. Yeah. And I think at a certain point, if they just figure out more and more ways for them to abuse their employees, eventually they'll go backwards in time. Like, I think that the density of human suffering may be equivalent to mass energy, and if you collect enough human negative energy in one location, it will actually collapse into a singularity that you can then use to do some kind of like a closed time-like curve, and then you would just have to send a drone with a package kind of around time, and it would deliver before you ordered.
That'd be insane. Like, well, I do get the 2-hour delivery. It's already insane. Have you had it yet?
Yeah, I haven't tried that. Is that like Amazon Fresh or whatever?
No, it's Prime now. So there's like
Prime?
Yeah, there's this like I guess it's this huge warehouse here in Houston. So they have a whole bunch of stuff, and if the stuff that you want is there, then it's 2 hours. Which is insane.
Okay, so yeah, they're getting there.
Yeah.
They're getting there. We're reaching some kind of a critical mass of human suffering, and eventually it will allow for time travel.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're
very close. Yeah.
We're this maybe around the holidays. I think the closer it gets to Christmas, the more and more suffering will exist in that warehouse.
Yeah.
I say all that, and I still totally do free 1-day shipping.
I mean,
like, that's the worst part.
Guilty as charged here too.
Is that it's systemic.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I mean, what are you gonna do? Not use Amazon?
I know, right? Oh, this one time, I was like, I could go to Best Buy and buy this game and another controller, or I could make guacamole and just have 2-hour shipping. So
you made the guacamole.
I had guac and play games. That's great. Oh.
I got this off Amazon Prime.
Of course.
Too,
so, are you ready to tell me a story?
Am I going first this time?
However you want.
Okay, I really am gonna kind of wing this one. It's not something that I know like a ton about. It is something though that I find endlessly hilarious.
Okay.
So we're just gonna go for
Let's
it.
do it. I'm ready.
I figured apparently my parents watch this.
Okay.
So some notes I got from my mom last time, which is funny because it's like we get 8 viewers, so it's like 25% of them are my parents. then like
Really? They're
another
watching
10%
it?
is James. So it's like the Hacksmith and my mom and my dad are the ones
Ah,
who are like watching this
hi,
stupid.
Ellen's parents.
Oh God, I don't know if they're watching this week. I don't know. Because our schedule changes so much. It's surprising anyone watches this at all.
Yeah.
I'm surprised James is here. Hi, James. Um, I wanna head to Canada next year.
I
I think
know.
I'm pretty much done with this whole makerspace thing. I think I'm just gonna shut it down and then just move to Canada for a bit. I don't know how the healthcare works for Americans on
Yeah.
vacation, but can't be worse than here. So, one of the things my mom mentioned from 2 weeks ago was that we had incredibly depressing stories. She was very upset by the Peter the Dolphin thing because if you weren't here last week, I told a Romeo and Juliet story of a woman and a
I'm
dolphin,
so embarrassed that
and
your mom
you know how
listened to
Romeo and
that.
Juliet ends. So Peter the Dolphin killed himself. He drowned himself, which is something dolphins are apparently smart enough to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to amass so much human suffering in one place that it forms a singularity, and we're going to go backwards through time. So actually, I'm going to start off with a very sad tragedy,
Okay.
and then we're going to work our way back into comedy.
Sure, no
So
worries. So
we're pulling, we're doing
set the scene for
going, we're
me.
gonna be Superman flying around the earth somehow. Okay, so starting off super sad. There's a woman born
Wait.
1628.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say set the scene for me.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Uh-huh.
There's a woman born in 1628 named Anne Green. She lives in it wasn't the UK back then, right? United Kingdom. No, it's England. Just
I
England. Right?
guess.
In the 1600s, England. She was an English servant.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm glad that we're gonna get this out of the way because it's heavy and then it gets lighter. So in 1650, she was raped by her master's grandson and was got pregnant, and then she gave birth to a stillborn kid. And because it was 1650, she was then sentenced to death for the murder of a baby because you're not allowed to have stillborn babies back then. If you did that, you murdered the baby.
What?
All right.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's it. That's it. That's it.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
Oh, we're out of the woods. We started in the
I'm
woods.
still depressed.
Instead of running into the woods, we started in the woods and we ran out of them. Okay, we sprinted out of the woods. Well, okay, there's still more woods because she sentenced to death by hanging, and she, it's kind of goes past tragedy and back into hilarity for me because she's sentenced to hang at Oxford, and as per her own request, she requested this. She got several of her friends to go to the hanging with her to basically hang on her body and hit her so that she would die faster.
No.
Yes.
How?
Yes. So
but
first
like
of all,
hit her with like stones or like what? Break
I
a
do not know.
leg?
It's in the historical description.
Yeah.
It says struck with severe blows.
Wow.
To make
So
sure.
like sticks.
So
And,
let
I
me
don't know.
let me ask you right now, Stephanie, of your friend group right now.
Okay.
Suppose you were sentenced to death by hanging tomorrow. Who in your friend group is so much of a friend that you'd be like, hey, I'm gonna hang to death tomorrow. I need a big favor. Could you like hold on to my body while I'm hanging to death so that I'll die faster? And then could you also hit me as hard as you can so that I'll die? Like, who in your friends group would be willing to do that for you right now?
Oh, let me think. Maybe my friend Dallas, because she's like, I think like if you have a very logical reason to do it, she's very logical. So I could probably sell it to her. Yeah.
So she'd be down like, oh yeah, you'll suffer less.
I mean,
it's gonna be weird,
at first she's gonna
but-
say no, why? But then I'm gonna give her a lot of logical reasons as to why.
Well, because I'm gonna be hanged to death anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, watch, or you could.
I mean, we'll probably
you-
come up with a better solution, like a super powered taser or something, so it's faster, not like suffering with blows.
Okay, it was 1650. They didn't,
Oh, you
the
said
high
right
tech
now,
was getting
tomorrow.
multiple people to hang on the person's
I'm
body while they're
sorry. You
hanging.
asked me right now,
All right, okay, I'm
tomorrow.
sorry. I
Yeah.
asked you. Right, you're right. I changed the
But okay,
context. Not
if
fair
we
of
go
me.
back in time and I'm still friends with Dallas, I'm still would ask Dallas. But instead of like, I would make sure that she uses like a cast iron skillet, like those really heavy
Oh,
skillets,
okay.
and just
That's
like
smart. That's smart.
bonk in the head. Done.
I mean, at that point, then you might as well just get her to murder you for you the night before. Why even do the hanging at that point?
Because
Like,
like
just
I don't want to be a criminal after.
that's true. That's true. That's true. As long as she's helping with the hanging, it's not murder. If she does it the night before the hanging, she's definitely committing
That's
murder.
right.
The law is a very simple
Why
thing
didn't she just
sometimes.
commit suicide? I mean, I just
Well,
thought you're
no,
right.
it's like I don't know, she's in a 1600s prison cell, jail cell, whatever.
Okay.
I mean, her life is not. It was a bad year for her. 1650,
Yeah.
not a great year for Anne Green.
Okay.
But we're still sprinting out of the woods.
Are we?
We're getting out, okay? So, Anne and some of her closest girlfriends are hanging from the noose, and as is described here, after the usual interval, she was let down. So they have some amount of time where they're like, I think she's dead. And then they, bring down her corpse. I assume the 1600s, did they have like wristwatches, or was it pocket watches, or was it sundials?
Honestly, I don't
I have a
know.
very bad sense
It
of
was
historical
probably
context. Anyway,
noon.
after the usual interval, she was cut down, pronounced dead at the scene. She's a corpse.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she was donated to medical students for dissection,
Okay.
as you do in 1650.
Yeah.
So the next day, they're at Oxford University. They're about
Wait,
to
I think
start
I
the
know this
dissection
one. Sorry, go on.
for- and turns out she's alive. She has a very weak pulse, and she is faintly breathing, like very shallow breathing, but she is actually alive. So her friends did not actually do that good of a job in helping her die. I would hope that Dallas would be a little more thorough with you, or not. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who
who
knows what the
knows?
story's going? Being medical students and having someone who is sentenced to die actually still be alive, I suppose there's a Hippocratic oath thing. So they're like, okay, we got to revive her. Like she was sentenced to death, but she's alive now, so we got to keep her alive. And so 1650, the steps they took was they poured hot cordial down her throat. What is cordial exactly?
Looking it
It's
up as we go.
concoctions, flecks of gold, and it looks like a cordial was just some kind of like a hot fluid with stuff in it.
Like metals.
So it looks like it's like based on alcohol with certain herbs and spices. So it's like a hot toddy.
Okay.
So,
But wait, so
but
they put a funnel in her mouth and then they
yeah.
okay.
So they pour hot toddy down her throat.
Okay.
They rub her legs and arms down. They bled her because, of course, that's what you do. They applied heating plasters, and they they took tobacco smoke and with a bellows blew it into her butthole. It was a tobacco smoke enema.
Yeah, I've heard about those.
Yeah. So then that's to warm up her bowels. Naturally, it's 1650. This is bleeding edge science here at that point in time. And after they pour the hot toddy down her throat and rub her down and bleed her and put plaster on her and then blow smoke up her ass, she's placed in a warm bed with another woman to keep her warm, and she recovers fully. So
wait, but they were trying to what? They were not trying to revive her.
They were trying to revive her because back in 1650s time, the main medical theory were the four humors. That you had these various wetness, dryness, hot, cold, sort of elemental things in your body.
Okay.
And so her being nearly dead, they're like, oh, she doesn't have enough warmth and dryness. I guess she was like, oh, she's too wet and cold. She needs more hot and dry. And so that, they pumped her full of tobacco smoke via her rectum.
Interesting.
And they, like, talking about friends. So not only does she have friends who are willing to hang with her to hang out.
Yeah, haha, yeah, okay. You should do, yeah.
She also had made a friend when she was almost dead because there was a woman who, like, I don't know who this other lady was. They don't describe this other lady, but I can't imagine, like, in 1650 in Oxford, I don't think it would have been like another like medical student. So we're talking like a servant. We're talking some lady. They're like, hey, this lady is almost dead. We need to warm her up. We already blew tobacco smoke up her butt. We need someone to stay in bed with her to keep her warm, and the men can't do it. So can you get in bed with this naked dead woman?
Oh my god!
And make sure she stays toasty because she might not be dead after a little bit of time. So they find a woman to do that. And Anne Green makes a complete recovery. So you can see how we're going in reverse now, right?
Okay, yeah.
Started in tragedy.
It's like a zombie girl. Gotcha.
Ends in probably the best medical discovery of the 1600s, which is the idea of the tobacco smoke enema. Tobacco smoke was historically used medicinally because it's like smoking. It's nicotine. It's got a very
stimulant.
I've never actually smoked a whole cigarette before. I don't actually know what it feels like. Have you smoked before, Stephanie?
Yeah.
What is it like when you smoke? It's supposed to be like energizing.
No, not at all. It's the opposite. It like relaxes you. And so when you said that, I think it made sense because I think like I guess the first time you smoke or something, it kind of makes you want to go to the bathroom. Kind of like coffee. Okay. Have you ever had that situation with coffee early in the morning?
Oh, yeah.
So kind of like that. Yeah.
So it's not like I think they're trying to use tobacco here as sort of a stimulant, like a warm, dry stimulant.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I have smoked a couple of cigarettes in my time, but it was almost always for some kind of bit. And I never actually smoked the entire cigarette.
What do you mean by bits? Oh, like for a video or something?
Yeah. So like I like lit up a cigarette for my lightsaber video in college. A bucket list from my roommate was she wanted to reenact the last scene from Grease.
Oh, okay.
And so we did that because she got a sweet job right before graduating, and so we were celebrating like, let's reenact the last scene from Grease. So she was wearing her leather jacket, and so it's specifically the part where the end of Grease is so messed up because the message of that movie is like oh, this girl changed everything about herself to fit in with the greasers, and that now the guy likes her. Isn't that how that movie ends?
I see it more like she found who she truly was, and
she
then
was truly a greaser.
They flew away in a car.
I don't buy that for even half a second.
I think so.
On the inside, actually, no. They did her up in makeup. There's like that moment where she like is trying to figure out what to do with the cigarette. Like she is definitely acting a part.
Oh, come on. Well, it's supposed to be like even though they look 30, it's supposed to be high school. So it's supposed to be high school. And I think like in high school, you kind of end up doing like stupid little things like that to impress people, So she's like, the hot guy.
Not a good life lesson.
Oh, okay, fine. Well, I can tell you because you brought it up. I smoked because I grew up in Mexico. And everyone smokes there. And
I think it's probably similar in China.
You're like 14. You're like, oh my gosh, my life is so hard. I need a cigarette. But for some reason. But of course, I did definitely stop. And I'm glad I did because that's really dumb. People, please don't smoke. It's really bad for you. It's not healthy.
Well, you're missing out because throughout the next 200 years or so, just about, if we're counting at 1650, up until just around 1811, the tobacco smoke enema became sort of the go-to treatment for people that were in sort of lethal conditions, mostly for drowning victims.
Yeah.
So after Anne Green's remarkable recovery, right around 1746, there was a scholar by the name of Richard Mead who started popularizing the idea of the tobacco smoke enema. And while this kind of word was going around, there was a woman who I think maybe might have been the River Thames. I think
The river what?
The River Thames, the River Thames, the that one in the England place,
London.
you know? Yeah, yeah. The London place.
What's the? Well, I never know how to say it. Like
I think it's Thames.
Thames.
I think it's the River
It
Thames.
says like Thames.
Yeah.
Wait, can you say it with?
But it's not spelled the way that you should say it. It's one
Oh.
of those like Colonel.
I thought it was their accent.
No, I think that's how you say
Okay,
it.
that's cool.
So,
I wanna learn.
on the advice of a passing sailor, the woman's husband took action. She took that sailor, or he took that sailor's pipe.
No.
Took the stem.
No.
I think the stem's the part that you put in your
Yeah.
mouth, right? So he took the stem and put it into his wife's butthole. And then he covered the bowl with a piece of perforated paper, which I guess they had handy. And he blew as hard as he could. And I guess she woke up. So,
No.
once that was firmly established that the tobacco smoke enema was how you wake people up from drowning, in the 1780s, the Royal Humane Society installed these tobacco smoke enema resuscitation kits all along the River Thames.
Yeah.
And so it was essentially a smoke pipe with a bellows attached. And here's the thing. Here's the tricky thing about medicine.
People are logging in and they're saying, "I'm so confused. What is this show?" Sorry.
So, obviously, this shit doesn't work, right? Like,
But it worked several times.
no, those are definitely coincidences where the person would have been fine and probably would have been better if you did not blow tobacco smoke into their butthole when you're taking them out of the water. But it being the turn of the 19th century, there's a lot of confusion. People are still thinking you're supposed to bleed people and humors. And probably the biggest thing, and this is, I would say, I think the only reason that this went on for as long as it did. So 1780, when they installed these resuscitation kits along the River Thames, they offered 2 guineas to anyone who used the resuscitation kit in an attempt to resuscitate someone.
2 guineas?
2 guineas.
Like
I don't know how much a guinea is. I assume back then it was a couple bucks.
I imagine like 2
maybe
guinea
$10 billion.
pigs, like 2 little guineas.
No. Guineas was like a form of currency
Okay.
that they had. So 2 guineas
Yes.
if you use the resuscitation kit on someone who is, potentially drowning in the River Thames. And then if you were successful at resuscitating them, if they were kept alive, 4 guineas. So your little Good Samaritan reward would double. So in the next few decades, the number of people who were supposedly saved by these resuscitation kits skyrocketed.
Wait, what?
Because the people who would rescue other people with these resuscitation kits would get 4 guineas. They would get money. So that means
were they faking
any old
it?
person who's flopping around the River Thames and they're going, "Oh, help me." The person pulls them up. He's like, "All right, just to be safe, I'm going to blow this tobacco smoke up your asshole." And so they work the bellows, they blow the smoke up there, and they're like, "Okay, you're fine. See, I saved you. Royal Humane Society, give me my money."
Right.
4 guineas. Cases of these resuscitation kits being used successfully skyrocket during this time.
Are there any drawings or pictures of those
Absolutely.
kits?
There are you can, if you look on the internet, there are still examples of these bellows that exist in museums and stuff.
Oh.
They're literally bellows where the nozzle part is it's meant to be put into a butthole.
Okay.
And then tobacco smoke is supposed to be bellowed into the rectum. And it'll wake you up.
I'm trying to find. Oh, wow.
So, probably my favorite example of this, because the thing is, it was these resuscitation kits were mostly used for drowning victims. But at the time, there you go.
Yeah, I'm showing it for everybody.
So imagine sticking one of those into someone's butthole and then just pumping like their life depended on it because you actually thought it might.
Yeah.
Or you just wanted your 4 guineas. I mean, whatever. The best part is you still got 2 if they die. Like, if it was unsuccessful, they still would give you 2 guineas just for trying to use the kit.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But the thing is, it was like a cure-all. People use this for all kinds of stupid stuff.
Yeah.
So, in 1805-ish, there was a patient who was documented to be suffering from general convulsion. So I suppose like seizures. I suppose we call those seizures today.
Yeah.
There was no known cure for that, and so I guess they applied a decoction.
What is a decoction?
A decoction. I don't know, but they applied a decoction of tobacco and water.
Okay.
A decoction, I assume, is a fancy word. Oh, it's like a boiled, like Turkish coffee is apparently a decoction.
Okay.
So imagine making like Turkish coffee, except instead of coffee beans, it's tobacco leaves. So this sounds nasty.
Okay.
So they give this guy with seizures an enema of tobacco decoction, and it roused the sensibility of the patient, so his seizures stopped, but it ended up causing vomiting, sickness, and profuse perspiration.
That sounds horrible. That sounds horrible.
Imagine you're having a seizure,
Oh.
and imagine doctors.
They give you this concoction or whatever concoction.
Pump tobacco coffee into your rectum, and it's so much that your seizures stop, but then you immediately start sweating and throwing up because they've dumped nicotine into your blood.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. And it doesn't say what happened after that. So I guess the guy was okay. Maybe. I don't know. And so on and so forth. I mean, it was used to treat hernias.
Oh my god. Acne.
There was a woman who was treated in 1847, treated for a hernia with a liquid tobacco enema along with chicken broth and opium.
I'm gonna have bad dreams about this.
So it's so again, the chicken broth, I have to stress, was also an enema. It was a chicken broth enema. The opium, I think, was taken orally because it says pills. I don't think.
I mean, that's the only one that would actually work, I think.
The opium? Yeah. I mean, you need, if you're going to be pumped full of tobacco and chicken broth the wrong way, then you better get some opium to go along. Like, there's no way I would do it without the opium.
That sounds terrible.
It says here the woman recovered. So
for seizures?
Yes. What's
for
that?
seizures?
No, hernia.
Oh, okay. Wow.
For a strangulated hernia, which I'm not sure what that means either.
Don't look that
I'm
up.
not allowed. I'm not legally allowed to practice medicine in the state of California. So
I'm glad.
I could not tell you what a strangulated hernia is.
Just the state of California, though?
I'm just specifying here.
Okay, just making sure.
I didn't say I could practice medicine anywhere, but specifically, I'm not licensed to practice medicine in the state of California.
Okay, we're good. Good. I'm glad.
So, the tobacco enema party went on for literally 150 years.
150 years.
Yeah, from 1650, or actually more than that.
Was it worldwide or just
like
the
200
UK?
years. I think this was it seems like it was pretty localized to around England because they were the ones with the cutting edge medical technology.
I guess.
You know, and at the time, America didn't even exist for most of the time this was a thing, so there you go. And right around, let's see. So the tobacco enemas declined starting in 1811 because that was when a man by the name of Benjamin Brodie, some doctor guy, I suppose, experimented on animals and discovered that nicotine was actually a cardiac poison.
Oh.
And so after 1811,
poor animals.
its use dramatically declined, and I don't know when the last person to be given a tobacco enema for medical purposes was, but it was hopefully not too soon after that. I mean, that woman was given the liquid tobacco enema in 1847, and that's the latest date that I can find on this Wikipedia page.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that around by by the time that discovery was made about nicotine, then about 40 or 30 years later, people stopped doing that. And then for about 100 years after that, people were just smoking cigarettes. And now we've moved on to vape pens, which I don't know if anyone's tried to put one of those up their butt yet.
Please
but they
don't.
Might
we do not advise this.
Might be. So, to all of our viewers at home, to all of our listeners at home, if you do own a Juul or other vape pen, I'm not saying you should stick it up your butt.
No, do not say it.
I'm not.
Okay.
But you never know.
You know those Juuls were exploding or something? I think they got recalled.
Well, don't put the exploding ones up your butt. Put the non-exploding ones up your butt.
Don't put anything.
Oh, yeah, I mean, no, I'm not saying.
I mean, whatever you like, but definitely not tobacco.
There's no implication here. I'm, straight up. Don't put things in your butt. But if you've got a vape pen, you never know.
I mean,
that's all I'm saying.
It's whatever people like. They can put
it was medicine 200 years ago. Why shouldn't it be medicine now?
Yeah.
But don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't put tobacco up your butt. Do not put tobacco on your butt. No butt. No butt. No butt. Oh my gosh. That was that.
So we did a reverse tragedy.
Whew. I mean, that was a good way.
That was an accident.
The sweating ended. Because the sweating started at the beginning when I was like, holy moly, what are we talking about here? And then now I'm like, the zombie girl, the tobacco. That was a good story.
I mean, it just goes to show you really got to have heavier friends.
Oh, yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah.
You really should invest in having some
who would
heavy
you call
friends.
if you had to ask someone to help you with your hanging tomorrow in the 1600s?
I mean, I'm pretty much just friends with YouTubers at this point, so I assume that they would like record the whole process. I assume it would be streamed.
Nobody would help you. They would be just like taking.
I'm sure I could get someone to help, but like as part of the deal is like, hey, can we make a video? Out of
what
this?
would be the video equivalent in the 1600s, though? Because there's no YouTube back then.
It would have been a very detailed wood carving, I think.
Or like newspaper. Probably newspaper. Come on. They were not that behind, were they?
Yeah. But the wood carving would last longer, right?
Yeah, okay.
So, probably...
Were there newspapers back then? I don't even know. When was
I don't know. I mean, the only person who's here regularly would be like William Osmond. Mm-hmm. I could probably get William Osmond to help me hang to death if he made a YouTube video out of it. Because remember, like even Logan Paul, like when Logan Paul filmed the suicide in the forest, after that was said and done, he net positive 200,000 subscribers.
That's not a good. But that's not a good way of doing it.
No, I'm just saying though.
Oh my god.
So there's an incentive there to make sure that I got hanged properly by my YouTube friends.
Right. Do it for the views. Jesus.
You can get at least 200,000 subscribers out of it. That's a Logan Paul constant.
He's a special case.
That's
all I'm saying.
What do the comments look like? Are we getting any comments about this?
Yeah.
Are people grossed out?
Some people were grossed out. And then someone said they got here at 6 a.m. Thank you for coming. And then, is it too late? No, it's not too late. What is this show? I'm so confused. Is this tobacco enema a hint for the Secret Santa? So they're asking if you actually made that for your Secret Santa.
Oh, a bellow for tobacco smoke into someone's rectum.
Imagine like the other person getting it like, what on earth?
Don't put it on your mouth first. Or no, put it on your mouth first, but not second.
No.
Actually, don't involve your mouth at all. There's probably some diseases that you could transfer going one to the other. Just brush your teeth twice a day, please. Floss once a day. Don't stick anything in your mouth that you're going to stick in your butthole and vice versa.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Unless it's a Juul.
No unless, no buts. Come on.
I'm joking, of course.
All right.
And for your only people, I'm winking really hard.
No. Okay. I got my story. You ready?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Please tell me that it ends on a happy note.
I'm not going to spoil anything.
Oh, God. This is going to be...
I was really excited about this. I actually found this story today. This is brand new news, if that makes sense.
Breaking news. Okay.
And it's relevant because I kind of talked about it in a different episode. So remember when I talked about the father of DNA and how it was used for forensics and finding out who the criminals are because of DNA?
Oh, the detective story.
Yeah, the father
That
of
ended in
DNA.
tragedy.
Yes. Well, it wasn't a tragedy. It was great. They found the criminal. The guy is still looking for DNA, and people are happy. That was a happy one.
Oh, okay, that was a happy detective story. Yes.
Okay,
I do
but you
recall.
recall that he found out about DNA and be able to use it to find the not just the victim but also the assaulter. So like
Right.
he discovered that DNA is like a fingerprint, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I got news for you.
Oh no.
So I'm gonna set the scene. It's Washoe County in Nevada, 2015. So
All right.
around the
4
time
years
where
ago, still had our innocence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, not that we had like the massive loss of innocence post 9/11, but still sort of the teenage innocence of pre-Trump,
2015. That's right.
post-truth.
This is when Hello came out by Adele. We didn't like it. It was everywhere.
2015.
Yeah.
That was when the Thor's Hammer video was
Oh.
published, racking up millions of views in the first week.
Oh, look at you. That was 2015.
2015.
So now you know.
So young, so fresh, so baby-faced. So what horrible thing happened in 2015?
No, not that bad. So Mr. Chris Long, he worked at the sheriff's office as IT. And I guess he was talking to his coworkers about how he needed a bone marrow transplant because I guess he had a really terrible disease. And his colleague...
Bonitis.
Huh?
I think in Futurama they called it bonitis.
Oh, no. I think in today's world it's when you have like cancer. But yeah.
I like bonitis.
No, bonitis is nice, but it's basically I had to look it up because bone marrow transplant basically means it's like you replace weak blood with stronger blood, basically.
They don't. I thought they like suck the stuff out of your bones and you put it in someone else's bones.
And
that's what it looked like. It looked like on House, anyways.
Well, I think the result is that you get stronger blood. So I don't know the procedure, but the result would be that.
Assume there's a bellows involved.
Oh no,
a bellows and a really sharp needle.
Oh, but okay. So his colleague Renee Romero. We're never gonna say those names again. I'm just gonna say he and she. So she ran the crime lab, and she was like, "Hey, dude, what if we just do a test on your blood before you do the transplant? Because I'm interested in what happens to the DNA situation." And so they start doing the tests as he's getting his bone marrow transplants, and then the tests at work just for fun. So they collect all this data for 4 years. So now we're today. And they kept
much less innocent.
Totally different.
Everyone is 30 years older.
Oh my gosh, yes. They kept swabbing him, his cheeks, everything, blood test, the whole thing. And then they realized, like, in only 4 months, so let's go back to 2015. In only 4 months, his entire blood had been already transformed. No, not transformed.
Transylvania. Transformers.
What is wrong? Words are
ride.
so hard. Replaced.
Translucent.
Replaced. That's what I wanted.
Replaced? We're trans at all.
So his entire blood had been replaced by that of his donors. One donor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I assume they had a bellows with healthy bone marrow. They shoved it into his bones, starts making new blood, but that blood is like the other guy's blood. It's like not his.
Yeah. So in 4 months, he has no more of his weak ass blood. But guess
only the strong, sweet, strong other guy's blood.
Yeah, dude from Germany, actually.
The other person?
Huh?
Did he know the other person, or was it like an anonymous?
No,
bone marrow?
they chatted like online, and it was this dude from Germany. There is a website for transplants. So if you're a donor, you can like go online and say, I want to be a donor for like bone marrow or whatever, and then it's like a big database, and anyone in the world could get yours or whatever. So it's actually pretty cool, but also Maybe not. Here's
You
why.
think he
No.
you think he messaged that dude and was like, "Hey, I have your blood now."
I mean, maybe he did if he's like you.
I think that would be it's just it's a very Harry Potter situation. Isn't that what happened with Harry Potter and Voldemort? That
Oh.
was like the big thing in
Yeah.
the at the
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
book
Yeah.
was because when Voldemort does the ritual to get a new body, he uses some of Harry Potter's flesh in the process, and so he actually has Harry Potter's blood running through his body, and that's why he can't kill Harry Potter after that point. Because if his mother's
Well, you're just
love
spoiling
still
it for
flows through
everybody.
blood, then Voldemort almost kind of makes himself a Horcrux for Harry Potter.
I can't remember. Probably.
See, this is why you, as a wizard, you have to diversify your killing techniques. Because killing curse, sure, makes sense, didn't affect Harry Potter. But if Voldemort had like just used a simple Muggle gun, like
Yeah.
I don't think any amount of mother's love is gonna keep Harry alive if he gets shot. You know?
But then it wouldn't be a kid's book.
Oh, please. At that
Ah.
point, Harry was 17.
Well, okay.
He was no child anymore. He had seen war. He had seen death.
But let's move from the
Sorry, we were talking about Harry
from
Potter.
wizardry crimes to actual crimes. So
Actual crimes, but-
Let's go back to
Oh, God.
actual crimes. So they swab his cheeks, his lips, and then they realize,
Yeah, they swab his cheeks.
yeah,
Stephanie.
oh, come on.
That's
I'm
what
not even
you were
gonna
doing.
go there.
That's what you were
They
doing.
swab his
I mean,
lips and his cheek and tongue, and it showed that he had both DNAs, his and that of his donor. The percentages, though, fluctuated through the years. So sometimes it was more, sometimes it was less, sometimes it was whatever. But his hair and his chest hair, that was his DNA. That never changed. But everything else, absolutely everything else, the DNA changed. Like it was sometimes both, sometimes his, sometimes less, whatever. So
is that just like the blood just like getting all up in the other cell's business?
Exactly.
Again, I'm not licensed to practice medicine in the state of California, but in my professional opinion, I think that other dude's blood was getting up in the cell's business.
yeah, well, here's a technical term, which is chimera or chimera. I don't know the pronunciation. Chimera, maybe.
From the
Greek mythology.
Greek monster that was a bunch of animals shoved together.
Well, they don't call it a monster, but yes, it's the lion with goat and serpents.
Oh, it's not friendly. He got its tail is a snake. That's not. It's a monster.
Well, but there's people who are technically called that, so I wouldn't want to call them
yeah,
monsters.
and they're monsters.
No, they're not.
I took a really hot take on that
Yeah.
all of a sudden. All right, let me soften this a little
Uh-huh.
bit. They're not
No.
monsters unless they have snake tails. If they have a tail that's a snake,
Yeah, ew.
then they're a monster.
Probably. Yes.
Full stop.
All right.
Clapping hands emojis. If you have a snake tail, you're a monster. Send tweet.
Oh my god.
Hashtag chimeras.
Chimera. So that's a technical term. Even if it's only like a bone marrow transplant, and that's when when you start getting two DNAs, that's the technical term.
So that, because I've known that term for like those weird cases where like there's twins developing in the womb and like one of them just kind of devours the other
Oh,
one.
yeah.
That's how I know the chimeras. I didn't realize that you could do that by just getting a bone transplant from a German guy.
Yep.
And then you have German DNA mixed up with your DNA.
Yep, that's
That's messed
no,
up.
it's not messed up. It's just science. But
Oh, as long as he didn't have a tail that was a snake, then he's fine. Yeah.
Yes. I agree. So, here's the thing. So doctors don't care. They're like, yeah, that's a chimera. Let's move on. This is great.
He doesn't have a snake tail. He's
The
fine.
brain and the personality should remain the same. Should, the word was should actually, and I capped that because I was like, okay, should remain the same. And however, I wrote, but this is super important for criminal science. So think about it this way. Now, you get a bone marrow transplant, and then apparently the donor is a murderer. And then
Sure.
somehow you decided to go to ancestry.com to find out your relatives. So your DNA is in a database. And then
Yeah.
they're like, go to the crime scene, and then they find out that your DNA, you were at the crime scene, even though you're not even in Canada or whatever. So you're a suspect now because your DNA is in the crime scene.
So you're saying to donate as much bone marrow as possible to as many people as possible to create a smoke screen for my crimes.
I'm not advising. I'm not giving any advice for any criminals.
Yeah,
I'm not.
we're not telling
Nope.
anyone to do
Nope.
that, and certainly not to put vape pens up your butt.
Oh my god.
I'm really hard if you can't see me right
Yes. Yes. Anyways. So, yes, tons of people right now get bone marrow transplants. It's actually way easier with that website that I was telling you about. And so, who knows who could become a victim or a crimer, and a murderer or whatever, a crimer.
Wouldn't it be? I feel like it would be easier to. No, it wouldn't be. I was about to say. I think it'd be easier to just steal people's like blood and leave it behind at your crime scenes. But
your DNA would still be in it.
It's probably not easy to just steal other people's blood.
But your DNA would still be there. Come on. There's no way you can, like, unless you're like fully
What
wrapped.
if you wore a fully vacuum formed plastic suit?
Okay.
And then you like went through some lackey's garbage and found a used Band-Aid, and then you did a crime, and as you were doing the crime you just wiped the Band-Aid everywhere. Wouldn't that then only be that person's, assuming that you had a perfectly hermetically sealed plastic bubble
Well, it
suit?
sounds like you're only worrying about the DNA, because if someone watches you walk in that, they're probably gonna know. I think you're missing other points here.
Down with old Band-Aids.
Investigators are pretty good.
Go to a barbershop, collect all the hair. You're just like, you got a burlap sack with hair and used Band-Aids. You're throwing it around the bank. Like, okay, put the money in the sack. Once I'll throw all the Band-Aids and hair out. All right, put it in there. Yeah, you never saw me. And then you pass out because you've been hermetically sealed in a plastic suit.
Yeah.
And then someone revives you by sticking a tobacco smoke enema up your butt. And then you donate your bone marrow to make it a happy story at the end.
Well, this is something that you would love, actually. Well, this is right up your alley.
Oh, is it really?
After 4 years, one of the tests came back with his semen was completely 100% that of his donor's DNA. It wasn't his anymore.
Semen.
Yes.
Important distinction. Not sperm.
Semen. Yes.
Semen. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So he's not having this other guy's kids.
No.
But he definitely would leave a very confusing crime scene.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
If he left the semen there.
Yeah. So fun fact, actually, fun weird facts. There was a girl yes, there was a girl who was
with Allen and Estefannie for semen facts.
There was a girl who was sexually assaulted, and they
in the woods. We're starting off in the woods. Hopefully
somewhere in Alaska, actually. But unfortunately, they didn't really believe her because she kept saying that it was one attacker, and they found two sets of DNA. I mean, two DNAs, and then they were like, yeah, she's too weird. We don't believe her, la la la. So that was.
She's kind of like underselling. Wouldn't you be like, holy shit, this crime's even worse than she said it was?
No, because actually for crime victims, like, it's really tough because initially people don't believe them when it comes to sexual assaults. So it's kind of tricky. And then, I'm glad that they actually did a DNA test on one of the suspects, and yes, he had a bone marrow transplant, and he had both DNAs.
So this happened. Like, this
real.
Literally, a guy got a bone marrow transplant and then committed a crime and caused a bit of confusion. By the way, how shitty would you feel if you donated bone marrow to a fucking rapist?
Would really suck.
Because that was done. It was complete. He had healed. Like, that's years later, right? So it's like you're feeling really good. Like, yeah, I'm bros with this dude in this other country. I saved his life. And then it's like, oh shit.
Well,
I regret giving him my bone marrow.
Well, here's more fun true facts for you. In 2000,
That was a
that
fun
was one of
fact.
them. In 2004,
All
and
right.
again in Alaska, the investigators uploaded a DNA profile extracted from semen to a criminal DNA database. It matched a suspect, but the suspect had been imprisoned during the assault. And of course, he
Ooh.
had received a bone marrow transplant, the actual guilty person. So the donor was a brother.
What is with these bone marrow recipients committing
Well, here's the thing.
crimes?
So the brother had donated his bone marrow to his sibling. And then his sibling, for some reason, went to prison. And then this dude attacked someone. And then they were looking at the brother like, but he's in prison. And then they realized that it was the brother. So now I wonder if the brother was in prison,
Ah.
incriminated by his sibling, who was always a bad guy.
Oh, you think there's some sort of Shakespearean intrigue with a
Maybe.
little Blade Runner mixed in, a little Gattaca
Imagine
mixed
that.
in?
That's so sad. What if you're like, thank you, brother, for saving me? And then you go to jail because you're.
I think it's pretty clear from these two examples you've given that bone marrow makes you into a
No, it
criminal.
doesn't. But I have more
It's
examples.
definitely if you look into the rogues gallery of Batman, I bet every single one of those people have gotten a bone marrow transplant. I bet you.
You
Joker,
you
Penguin,
wanna you can start
Clayface.
doing that.
I guarantee you Riddler's gotten a bone marrow transplant. He's weird. He's a weird guy. He's probably got a snake tail. That's how you know he's a
Yeah.
monster.
Oh no, there's a lag. Someone said on the
Guys,
com.
I'm telling you.
Um, it's lagging. We're not online. I don't know. It's lagging so much. Uh,
Oh, are we just not even on YouTube
it's
right now?
it's lagging. I'm getting comments and then I see it on the live stream. And I am connected to the Ethernet, so I don't know what's going on. I apologize, people. They're getting.
Oh no, how will people get their semen facts? All right, guys, plan B. Text semen to 80555 to get your daily dose of semen facts. Get your daily dose of semen today from Allen and
Oh
Estefannie.
no. Oh.
And don't put a jewel up your butt. Wink.
So here's another fun fact for you. There was there was an accident and the blood showed that the individual was female, but he was a dude. And the body appeared to be male, which was confirmed by DNA in the kidney, but the spleen and the lung contain male and female DNA. Eventually, they figured out that the victim had received a bone marrow transplant from his daughter. And then another case, a mother nearly lost custody of her children because of a DNA test. Which is almost
Oh.
ridiculous. Like, I was there at birth. Those are my children.
Was that also a bone marrow thing, or was that what happened in
Yeah,
that
all of
case?
these are bone marrow cases that, yeah.
Bone marrow transplants are bad.
Yep.
Shouldn't get them. Shouldn't give them. They make people bananas, and they just make crime complicated.
Yeah.
Another hot
Or
take.
mothers could
of the night.
lose their babies because DNA
Yeah,
tests. That's
yeah.
so weird.
Yeah, gives you snake tail.
No.
You don't want it.
So everybody, here's the problem. There's not a lot of studies around this, and this is like one case. It was presented this September in the forensic whatever conference, and that's it. So no one is really doing a lot of studies on this. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I think this is just the tip of the iceberg of not being able to use DNA as a criminal evidence in a crime scene.
I mean, realistically, though, like, how many people actually get bone marrow transplants? Like, out of all the cases that are, like, decided by DNA evidence or not, like, there's like a handful, right?
I disagree. I mean, it's not just that. It's not just bone marrow. It's all kinds of
Yeah, it's like
transplants.
chimeras who absorb their twins or whatever, and it's like I feel like we're talking about something that's like 0.1% of the time, right? 0.01%
Is that
of the
because
time.
you've only heard about it because nobody is doing any studies on this and we actually don't know how many sets of DNAs you have?
Well, I'm not licensed
Yeah.
to practice medicine in the state of California,
Mm-hmm.
but I would just assume that in the vast majority of any criminal cases, that the people probably are not chimeras, would be my guess. The chimeras are a rare breed.
No,
Those
you
with
didn't
snakes for
even
tails
consider
even rarer.
DNA a thing. Like DNA as in from a transplant, not because you were twin, not because of your monster like you thought. It's actually just something as
Well,
simple.
yeah. How many people get organ
So
transplants?
many. There's
That's like
so have you seen the waiting lists? They're
yeah,
insane.
those are people who haven't gotten
But
organ
that's because
transplants. That's
but
different.
then all of them will. So that's the thing.
There's how many people would you think that is though? Because there's about 330 million people in the U.S. Right? So even if like 30 million people in the US are getting organ transplants and are chimeras, that's still 10%. It's less than 10%. It's like 90% of the population are not chimera monsters.
I wouldn't
I
call them
I would say
that, but
if if if
I'm not
if
calling them that at
if
all.
we were if I was even like if I was 65% sure if if there was like 65% regular humans compared to chimeras, I'd still go with DNA evidence.
I mean, of course we still will, but then how could you be so sure? This guy didn't have
Oh, that there aren't that many
this guy
chimeras?
does not have two DNAs in his semen. He only has one and it's not his. That's where it gets complicated.
I think they can figure it out. And
No,
again,
have you
I
seen
still
like
think
how those oh my gosh, have you seen any proceedings and how they go? There's no way the DA is gonna cling on to something or the prosecutor or whatever, and it's not gonna, no, they're not gonna let it go.
all right, I'll frame it this way. How many cases are there? I guess we could Google it because we're not gonna have an answer right here. How many cases are there of chimeras messing up the justice system versus how many cases are there of people who have been exonerated from their prison sentences by DNA evidence?
How many
Huh?
what?
Huh? How many people were found
Uh-huh.
innocent in prison because of DNA evidence that occurred later versus how many people have been wrongly imprisoned because they were chimeras?
But how many
I think
people
I would put a
but
tenner
wouldn't that give
on
you more evidence as to how science never wins in a courtroom? How they didn't even look at the actual DNA
no,
and
no,
they
people
put
exonerated by DNA evidence after the
right, but
fact
that could be
because
like
DNA
16 to 20 years
admissible
later.
for-
That's not right away.
Yeah, because those are people who did not have the DNA evidence to actually submit at the
No,
time,
they
because
had
that's
it.
only.
That's the thing. They always have it. No. This is not a
What?
problem about whether they found the DNA later. They always
I'm,
they wouldn't be able to collect it later. They have the
no,
DNA.
when was the first time? When was the first time where DNA evidence was admissible in a court of
The
law?
one that I
Like what
showed that I
decade?
told you a few weeks ago.
Yeah, what
That
year
was
was
like in
that?
the 80s.
Yeah, there are people who went to jail before the 80s and then were released afterwards because of DNA evidence. And I
But
bet you it's more the number of people that have been falsely imprisoned for being
no,
chimera
wait.
monsters.
What's the argument? You said I bet there's people in the 80s that were released after.
There are many cases of people who are exonerated of their crimes based on DNA evidence that's submitted after they were put into prison, because at the time where they were put into prison, that was not a thing that people knew to submit
But
as
that's the
evidence,
thing.
or
If
that
they
was not
didn't
something
submit
they
it,
could
they
do.
don't have it. You cannot collect DNA later. That's the thing. I'm trying to tell you, they do not collect
No.
DNA
People
later.
people have in like the evidence lockers for these cases, you have like, traces of skin left under fingernails and hair and things
That's
that
they only
normally.
started collecting that for DNA testing.
Oh my god! I will bet you $10 here right now there are more people exonerated by DNA evidence than there are chimeras falsely
I'm not
imprisoned due to
arguing
DNA.
that. All I'm saying,
Oh well, I
I
want
was
ten
not arguing
dollars.
that. I was just arguing that science never wins in the courtroom. So that doesn't even matter.
No. There's all kinds of science in the courtroom. Mostly the science of who people think are innocent. Like, you have to wear glasses. That makes you appear more innocent.
Right.
There's a whole there's a whole psychological
Okay,
science to how to make
psychology
people look
wins,
more
but
serious.
like other kinds of science almost never wins. Even though,
Wait, did Scientology wins?
no. You could have all the DNA in the world, and if you get a crazy good lawyer or the DA is crazy, it won't matter. That's what I was trying to say. So if you have now a new set of 2 DNAs, they're immediately going to say like, oh, we don't know. Like, throw away the DNA. That's where I'm getting at.
That probably doesn't happen often enough.
We need to watch you more criminal shows.
I want $10.
I can send you the $10. I don't even care about the money.
Oh. All right. No, well, then I'm on your side then. If you're going to give me $10. Yeah, chimeras are a big problem. DNA evidence sucks. Yeah. I want my tenner.
Oh, man. This was supposed to just talk about this fun stuff.
I will do anything for money.
I don't see care. That now. I could just pay you before the show starts.
I assume if I make my way to Texas at some point, I get a lunch out of it.
100%. Or if I go to LA, I'll buy you something.
Yes.
$10 though, because LA is expensive.
Yeah, $10 is fine.
I'll take you to
In-N-Out. We go to McDonald's. McDonald's has a 2-for-1 thing. Oh, by the way, this episode of Because Science is sponsored by McDonald's. Currently has a buy
that's not
2-for-1 or
please
buy
do not
$2
McDonald's
McDoubles and McChickens. So just remember, when you think of semen and tobacco smoke enemas and people being hanged to death and that kind of thing, think about McDonald's.
Wow.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba! They paid us $20,000 for that just now.
That I think I'm required to say that that's not true, just to be safe.
Now, I'm not licensed to practice law in the state of California. Do we actually have to tell people that McDonald's?
I just want to make sure that we state that that is not true. McDonald's did not pay us anything for that story.
But wouldn't it be great if they did?
I mean, I agree, but I think
I'm just saying. I've never ingested a McDouble through my butt before, but if I was going to, I'd definitely buy my McDoubles from McDonald's.
So,
I'm loving it.
As a Californian, do you prefer McDonald's or In-N-Out? We just got an In-N-Out in Texas.
In-N-Out, but McDonald's can be cheaper if you got the right deals, but In-N-Out is vastly superior.
Oh.
And like that, our $20,000 is gone. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
In-N-Out, In-N-Out's real good. What can I say? I can't tell a lie. And we've lost our sponsorship.
It's okay. I'm impressed that people are still listening. Thank you, guys.
When you think of semen and when you think of buttholes, now don't think about McDonald's. Think about In-N-Out.
Oh, that's more fitting. All right. Well, I think this is it.
That's a show. That was definitely a show.
Thank you, everybody who logged in.
We'll be back next week, I suppose.
Probably not. You're gonna say, "Oh, it's almost like Christmas. Can we move it?"
No, the 25th is Christmas. We won't be on Christmas, right. But
is your mom gonna tune in? I want to say hi to your mom. She sounds nice.
I mean, she'll probably watch. I have to pretend like she's not watching because otherwise I wouldn't be able to talk about gross things. But I assume
you seem pretty comfortable. Wait, some of the comments people were complaining about the lag. They were saying, yeah, you actually did ruin Harry Potter because they were still reading it.
Oh no!
Someone.
I didn't explain it that well, right?
Someone was taking notes how to become a criminal because of what you said of putting on like that suit and wiping a Band-Aid everywhere.
Oh yeah. No, it's definitely a practical way of robbing.
Someone said criminal plus chimera equals crimer. I like that. What is SCBA system? SCBA, and then just system. Someone commented that, and then
I don't know. It probably stands for
just
something.
gotta burn everything afterwards. Oh, arsony. Okay. Lag. 100% of all criminals have bone marrow, and spinny circles of
They're
death.
onto something.
Someone laugh at your plan B because we were lagging. And then, the Hacksmith, thank you for listening. Very enjoyable stories regardless. Thank you. Self-contained breathing apparatus. That's what SCBA means.
It's scuba.
No.
Yeah, isn't that what scuba is? But it's underwater. That's what the U is.
Probably. No. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone. I'm gonna end the stream.
We love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.